Hi, I'm Dr. Anthony Mattis, and what is ASB? Well, ASB is an acronym for Anthony Synthesis of Being, and it was coined by Dr. Dane here, a very good friend of mine, the co-creator of Access Consciousness. And 2.5 years ago, he came up to me and he asked me, I'm a chiropractor by trade, and he's like, would you do some chiropractic for me? And so I did, and I worked on him in class. And then after class, Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, he's like, would you like to work on me? And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, okay. But I knew somewhere in my universe that what he was looking for wasn't chiropractic. And thank God Dane was in the room, because I'm like, Dane, what do I do for him? And like, does he want chiropractic? And Dane's like, no. And I'm like, well, what do I do? And he's like, you'll figure it out. So I start working on Gary, and I just started placing my hands on him, and just really became an invitation. And all of a sudden, his body like jumped like 3 inches off the table, and I thought maybe I hurt the guy. And I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, no, I'm great. He's like, you just shot a lightning bolt through my body. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And he's like, no, don't be. And in that moment, he yelled out to Dane, and he goes, hey, Dane, he goes, we just found someone who has very similar capacities as you. And I'm sitting there saying, like, I'm like, what do they mean by that? And so they invited me to start doing, Symphony of Possibilities sessions in the back of classes. And as much as I was scared and didn't believe in that as a possibility, I decided to go for it. And so I've been traveling the world, working on Gary and Dane, doing sessions in the back of the room. And as these spaces got created in people's universes, and when I asked Gary and Dane, what do I call this? And they're like, well, what you do is Anthony Synthesis of Being. And I'm like, and so a lot of people are like, is that a typo when you promote that? And I'm like, no, that's just what Dane calls it. So, it's an invitation to find you. It's an invitation for you to create the life that you know is possible. But no matter what you've done, no matter what you've tried, you keep seeming to come up against these brick walls. So yeah, so I'd like to invite you to greater possibilities. I know what it's done for me in my life, where you could actually perceive the limitations, the abuse, the struggles begin to melt away in the universe. And when that happens, it opens up this whole space in your world for you to actually be brave enough to take those 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps forward in your life and start creating the life that you know is actually possible. So if you were being you, who would you choose to be? And I invite you to that right now.